All right, so we should be up and ready.
Hi.
Hey. Randall, come on, you let us down.
Oh, sorry. All right, well, welcome guys, and yeah, I'll let Adam run it. It's Adam's show tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't even get a stream going on, so I need to have to call in the help from overseas to get a stream going on. Hi everyone, welcome to the Amigos and Code. As you can see, MVP streamer of the decade, Mr. Chris Vandal from Las Vegas.
There's a bundle from Dell. Oh, that was bad.
And also Mr. Steve Legion Vapes from northern New South Wales in the magnificent country of Australia. We've got a few people in the chat. Hi to you all. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I can't even not get a stream going on because apparently my computer is just won't do it. So rad. But welcome to Monday and or Tuesday, no matter where you live. It's been a big weekend. What did you fellas do on the weekend?
I sat glued to Instagram, vicariously living your life. Alternately drooling and cursing your name.
Yeah. Chris, what did you do? You didn't work, did you?
Oh no, I didn't work. I went over to a friend's house, and we every year we decorate the tree, set up stuff, and then plan for like Secret Santa shenanigans and shit like that. And
Nice.
it really showed me how out of shape I am because all I did was climb a 5-foot gorilla ladder at best and walk around a tree a couple times. And man, my legs are sore. I don't know how Legion does it every day.
Do your dogs attack Christmas trees?
To be honest, we're really not like heavily Christmas in this house. And so we never ever put up a Christmas tree. We just go somewhere else and let them deal with the mess.
Yeah. Because that's it. You put it up for 3 weeks, and then when you take it away, you've got to clean that corner of the house.
You actually got to clean for once, and then you got to carry it from place to place, and screw all that. When I was a kid, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness and super poor, so I'm kind of anti-Christmas decorating as it is, because it's so easy. And so if anyone ever comes over and asks, I lie and say I'm a Jehovah's Witness as I shotgun a beer. So
Works.
yeah.
I think my best ever Christmas tree was made of cardboard and tinsel paper. We just tacked it to the wall and left it there for about 8 months, like a traditional Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And eventually just pushed the couch over it and left it.
It's biodegradable then,
Yeah, there you go. And then I'll hit the chat real fast. We got Steven Sard in the house. T Gets, welcome guys. David Malta catch the replay. We got Stanky Jangles in the house as well. Great Wombatsky, good afternoon to you. Well, it's your afternoon. And yeah, welcome to the show, guys. And so we'll start the buffet and then let Adam tell us his mystical stories of NZ.
Oh yes.
And
yeah.
I'll just go ahead and get mine out of the way since it's so long. Nothing's new. All right, go ahead, Adam.
I liked it, but I also like that about you, man. You know what you like, and that's awesome because you set up all this shit and you're like, I'll vape that for 3 hours. I don't like it anymore. I'll set up something else. I actually have. I mean, apart from the devices, I don't have any of my regular e-liquids here in front of me. So this is a bit of a momentous occasion. I have here probably the ugliest setup because I haven't found a mod to put it on yet. Is the QB Designs M25 Fatality Joules RTA. I've got a set of coils in there, and I've been really enjoying this. This is very good competition to the Blotto. Completely different setup and all that sort of thing, but this is banging. Really, really good.
Nice.
And in that, I have actually big shout out to Mr. Mikey. I will get into the story of Mr. Mikey afterwards, but this is Hunting Clouds. Strawberry Earthshake. This is Mikey from NZ. That is very, very tasty. I also have in here the daily banger of the Topside Jewel Passage, but I have Andrew G from Cloud Revolution. I believe that this is a company he's got to do with, Mr. Wikis. This is chocolate and vanilla. That is pretty interesting. Chocolate's one of those ones I think in e-liquids that people either love or they hate, and that's really interesting.
Nice.
I also have DBV3 and another passage, and I have in that a USA liquid, Sad Boy e-liquid butter cookie. I'm sure everyone who's in the USA knows all about that company. That's pretty interesting. I tried that in one of those disposable tanks, the plastic version, you know, the $3 or $4 situation. I've never vaped one of those before, a mesh tank, and it's interesting. This is good. But I also have two other acquisitions. I bought myself a Steam Crave. I think this is called the Mini RTA. I think that's just what it's called, Mini RTA, something like that.
The Glass Mini?
I think they call it glass, but that's the setup. It's got the glass on the inside, and I set that up last night. That has a little Fresh Farms strawberry cake, whatever the hell that thing is called. That's really, really good, but it is a 35 mig, and when I took that, my eyes water a little bit. But it's very, very good. And last one is the other thing that I paid for, which is a Inniken Podden, however you'd like to pronounce that. And I would, you know me, I'm black everything, so this is a little resin number, little pod, little clicky situation with a replaceable coil and a little airflow thing there. But this has been really good. I actually took two devices with me to the event, and I ended up MTLing the vast majority of the event and was only doing cloudy after the event was finished when we were out and about. So this is really, really good. This is really good. But when I was talking to the gentleman behind the counter, when I purchased this, I didn't realise it, but that was Inniken George. I believe he's one of the one of the main people at Inniken. He came out for the event, had no idea it was him.
Nice.
But thank you very much, George. And in that, it has it actually has another Mikey Hunting Clouds. This is it's called Blue Kiwi Crush. This will be a nice little summer business. A little bit of cooling, a little bit of the fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Steve.
Oh, we've got a guest before I start. Emily, how you doing?
Hello.
She looks like she's still on vacation.
Awesome. Can you hear us okay? What about you guys?
I can't hear anything. Except the wind.
Not working.
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
Awesome. You guys can hear it? Everyone can hear?
I can hear.
hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vape Advocacy AU, or AU. Vape Advocacy AU.
Oh, welcome to the show.
Good. Sorry, I'm outside and I'm also streaming this into my hearing aids, so if it's not working, I'll just hang up.
Would you say hearing aids?
We can hear you.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's everyone doing? What's going on?
Well, we're just going through the buffet. Mr. Legion was just about to tell everyone what he's vaping on at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've interrupted the important part.
Yes, the most important. No, that's not important. This is just us showing off. Look what I've got. Speaking of which, yeah, today, still using the, this guy, the, what's it called again? The Boost. The Boost. This is the one with the built-in pod system, what do you call it? Coils, that's what it's called, coils. And Anarchist Pink Lemonade, because Anarchist is life. Just came in yesterday, also using another one with the RDA section.
Oh,
Little coils in there. And just kind of getting a handle on that because the wicking's a little weird. You want to go for a light hand on that. But other than that, it's working quite well. And on that one, I've got the lemon cheese bar from Goodies. Really nice flavor there. Still using this beast, which is the, of course, the top side white. The variant on top. Really nice setup. Works just like the top side. If you use the top side before, you know exactly how this vapes. And yeah, gotta have some coffee in there, so salted caramel from barista. On top of that, yeah, a little pot system. This little guy. Review's coming up for that tomorrow, and it is a banana cream pie. That's pretty much it today. Nice and simple, very straightforward.
nice.
Emily, what are you vaping on?
Absolutely nothing.
That's what I like to hear.
She hasn't. She's been doing a Para Series
Oh, no.
mix all weekend. Yeah, she's been spanking the clouds.
I had a nicotine toothpick
Yeah.
on the plane yesterday.
Actually, I saw you on Moxley's stream the other day, and I have to say, it was impressed, and I was impressed. You were telling your story about quitting and your sense of willpower in getting through. And that is a really, really, really hard thing, as you know, for most of us to do. So congrats and kudos for making it through. And having a vapor in the house and still being able to stand strong. For me, if I had quit and then there was there's an option there that's not so bad. I could have something. I would have slid. I would have given in. My willpower is.
I think so, because
strong.
Adam continued to smoke for so long after I quit. Like the smell of cigarettes, that just didn't interest me at all. And so by the time he picked up vaping, I just feel like maybe I'm just done with the whole thing. I certainly don't want to inhale anything into my lungs. I think that's what helps me to not pick up vaping.
Yeah.
And yet you're such a strong advocate. That is amazingly awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was actually interesting. The event this weekend was also like super cloudy at times. You know, there was the times when, because they had really good ventilation, and I think on the second day they had a bit of air conditioning going on, but it was cloudy at times, and I just kept looking at Emily to like, are you okay? Like, is this all right? And
It's fine.
yeah, it's pretty
It's no big
non-offensive.
deal.
Yeah.
And it smelled great, so, you know.
As long as it's
Exactly.
cheesecakes, you know.
When you used to vape, when you could just walk through the hall and enjoy everyone else's clouds.
That's right. So many aromas. And the smell of freedom, because we can't do that here.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask Adam when we were getting ready for the stream, as this occurred to me. So living in a country where we are so restricted, where not only can you not buy nicotine e-liquids, but where you are, you can't even show devices. They have to be hidden behind cloths and cupboards and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
How did it feel to walk through a hall with all these devices being celebrated, harm reduction being celebrated, just items just freely available?
Yeah.
How did that feel for you to be in such a different environment than what you're used to?
I had it in my brain what the Vape Expo was going to be like. You know, like particularly from, I guess, companies showing up and music and tricks and promos and all that sort of thing. But it wasn't until when I was walking around. So All Day Vapes was in NZ as well. He's another YouTube reviewer. He actually lives like literally streets away from me. And it was him that was spinning out saying, this is a trip, like people walking around with nicotine and they're giving away nicotine and, you know, no one is being restricted in any way, shape or form. And I kind of never really thought about that, you know, because the vast majority of companies were NZ. Unless they were China, they were the NZ companies, you know. So there was no zero nic liquid. Or, I mean, you probably had to ask for it. They may have had some if they were retailing that or giving it away, but like everything was 3 milligram. So, you know, that was bizarre, and I actually never really thought about it until later in the event. But there's also, I mean, a couple of pronged answers to that question you asked, Steve, because we see NZ as a, you know, a fantasy land, or not a fantasy land, but like a heaven for vapors, you know. But it was, I think it was, so Emily and I were very lucky to have dinner with Dr. Glover on the Friday night when we arrived, and also Andrew Thompson, who is another hardcore Australian Twitter advocate, and I always forget her name, I'm so sorry, it was one of, another... Yolanda, excuse me, yes, she's based in New Zealand as well. She does some work with Dr. Glover as far as the advocacy and chorus. So they were talking about their struggles, you know, Health Minister Salesa and all of the other situation of the antis going hardcore in NZ. So it wasn't as perfect as what we see, you know. There was a few things that happened during the event that, you know, people were kind of talking about as like, is this a contra or is this an anti-situation or all that sort of business? But I'm sure Emily can attest to this. By far and wide, the 2 days of the event was nothing but community and like, you know, group hugs and high fives. And before the second day was out, they'd already announced next year exactly the same time. It's on next year, you know, so they'd already rebooked the event, you know. So even with, I guess, the woes of what's happening worldwide and the woes of what's happening in NZ, particularly because their legislation was supposed to be released before the end of this Parliament sitting, right? Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, and it's delayed now until next year.
Exactly. That's not even happening. So the companies don't. I'm sure everyone wants business to do better, but as far as the companies were concerned, it was business as usual. Happy, smiling
faces. Yeah, it's a nice little bubble of positivity. Really. It's really, really nice to be.
Yeah. Exactly. So I guess it really depends on who you were talking to and where you were, and where they were sitting in the grand scheme of things. But it looks like things are going well,
And this is your first expo, yeah?
First Vape Expo, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure everybody knows it was probably, 99% pods. There was an awful lot of pods. Big Tobacco was there in pretty strong force as well. They had the choice positions, the big money store, what do you call it?
Stands.
Stands, thank you. They had the prime positions, so that they were in your face when you walked into the event.
Which companies, if you don't mind me asking?
So ICOS was the main one right inside the front entrance. So that's Altria, is that right? Or Philip Morris, excuse me. Yeah, Vipe was there. Blue was there. I think there was a couple of others, but they definitely had big promotions, that whole situation.
Really polished stands, very well put together, impressive. All of that crap designed to lure people in.
So how was the reaction from the public to their presence? Were they crowded as much as anyone else, or was there sort of a space around them that was being left alone?
I don't know. I didn't see that their stands were particularly busy. I think most vapors that were there were not in the market for that, particularly IQOS. There's still a market for IQOS, but if you're already vaping, it's not used. So
I think that if I had been there, I'd seen them. I just walked past to the next stall and they ignored me. They have no interest in me, so I just.
You want to find, amazingly flavored juice and awesome devices and stuff. You're not there to look at IQOS, and that's probably what most of the attendees were like. So, I don't know how successful a show it would have been for a company like that.
I do know that, interestingly, Nick Green actually did buy an IQOS while he was there. And posted a picture of it. Interesting to see how he's going to take to that, and whether he tears it apart or gives it some grudging respect. We'll see that in the future, but I was just surprised to actually see him.
So we may have some insight to that. We were sitting in one of the stands, vaporized stand, with Nick when he bought it, and we basically took it apart. He was like, I want to try it, and I was like, let's do it. So we charged it up, and it was a menthol cigarette. There was a lot of things about it that you see, but it was when it was in your hand, it was a cigarette. It was a cigarette with a heating device, and the moment he hit it up, that smell, that familiar smell, and the whole situation. But it was the parts of like that whole thing. If you're a smoker, I don't agree with them, but it's harm reduction. So I think there's an absolute place for them. It is big tobacco and it is all that sort of shit, but at the end of the day, it's harm reduction. But the whole situation of the actual little, I'm going to call it a cigarette because I don't know what else to call it, but the actual little cigarette itself, I think we counted 7 pieces to the actual cigarette itself. The filter, the second filter, the other piece of cardboard, the paper surrounding that part, the actual, tobacco that was originally tobacco, but what it looked like to me is that it was, tobacco leaves, dried, whatever, flattened, and you know how they do those ice creams you can buy, like the Cold Rock ice cream, and they flatten it all out, and then they use the chisel to roll it. That's exactly what it was making me think. Was they made it almost look like tobacco, but when you burnt or when it was heated and you actually scrunched the end of it, it was actual little pieces. So it kind of looked like tobacco, but it wasn't like what you see in a regular commercially packed cigarette. but there was heaps of pieces in that little Fifth Element reverse cigarette. The filter took up 3/4 of it, and the actual tobacco part was the end of it.
So here's my question then on that. I mean, obviously, no, none of us here are scientists or nothing, but did it look like basically they just had like hookah tobacco in a device that heated up, so instead of it being like, I get like maybe it's somewhat safer, I don't know all the specs on it, but they're just trying to sell you a cigarette inside of something that's a little bit more complicated?
That looks like shit and smells like shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, and it sounds terrible. Oh.
It looks like a duck and smells like a duck. Yeah, it was an interesting thing, and when we were sitting there, Nick was like, "Oh, I'm going to post it," and he was like, "I am going to get so much shit for this," but he goes, "It's research. I paid for it out of my own money. I want to know about it." And I mean, that's exactly what you should do when you want to find out about the opposition.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I saw him post that, and I saw people start to tear into him for it. It's like, it's kind of his job, it would be my job if I got one in my hand. Same reason I got shit for reviewing the Blue Pods a while back, because they're big tobacco. It's like, but do they compare? I mean, I have to look at these things to see, do they compare to non-big tobacco vaping systems? There's a comparison here that's worthwhile looking at. And the same thing would be for IQOS. I think if the IQOS had come out prior to vaping, it might have taken the world by storm.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
It's just so redundant now. It's archaic technology. It's archaic mindset, and we have better.
And especially the fact that they're creating a product that you still, like you said, there was 2 filters that you'd have to use to ingest it, and they're still creating something that these people that use these chemicals think that you need a filter for, and they're still on that stupid shit kick. I don't know.
It was what they also said on the stand, because I didn't spend any time on the stand. It just smelled of cigarettes, and I couldn't stay there. But apparently, they also had another device that was a mesh-based device. So they are venturing into vaping as such. And I didn't get to see it, but I did actually get to try the other disposable pods that a lot of companies that are bringing out those single use, like obviously Dinner Lady and the Modi was there, and so there was a whole part of the industry that obviously we can't have in Australia because we can't have nicotine, but we got to try a lot of those single use things that everybody else has got taken for granted.
And it trips me out that you were able to go there, see this company that is worth, anything that any of us would never ever be able to imagine, still not being able to just take the same flavor formula that we have, or ingredient formulas, where we use 3 to 4 ingredients, and that's it. It would probably save them money on top of providing something, yet still they're peddling the same bullshit. I don't get it.
That's always the thing that's amazed me, like the last couple of years. If any tobacco company embraced vaping fully,
it'd be insane.
Coils, wicks, e-liquid, 4 basic ingredients. Let's make it good. Let's sell it. They could dominate. They have enough money behind them to completely trash this industry. They could have dominated if they had just gone into it the way any other Chinese company had done. Decent products and great marketing. They would have been able to completely kill this market or the industry, the rest of us.
And that's what trips me out.
Instead, they go these strange other little ways, like buying into other companies secretly, or trying to convince us that a cigarette that's heated by a battery is not actually smoking. It's weird.
It's interesting what George from Inikin was saying about, because he's obviously China-based, and the Chinese government owns the vast majority of tobacconists out there. So he was saying that that would likely never happen in his country, but he's dealing all over the world. But even in his own country, those kind of products would not fly. But even from an aesthetic point of view, because they had obviously they had a few little pod devices, and the Inikin all-in-one kind of situations, and then they had the Protons, Proton Mini, and then just the regular Proton, and he had very standard Inikin. I mean, they're the Apple of vaping as far as So they had like 3 colors, like all of the bits and pieces, and then right next to it there was a Proton Mini that had that whole Psycho Clown look about it, like the artwork artwork on it, and I was like, oh, is that something you're getting into? And he was like, only for certain markets, because in some countries, like some of the Asian countries, that's what they release for there. But he goes, we couldn't release that in the US, we couldn't send that to Australia, we couldn't send that to Canada, and I was like, okay. And he's like, we don't really want to do it, and I was like, okay. Yeah, that was pretty interesting, but yeah.
So I got a question for the better half of the Breestones household. Coming in from like the advocacy standpoint and you doing everything like that, did you feel very welcome? It seemed like from what I saw on social media that you guys had a blast and you guys were rubbing shoulders with all the good people. How was your experience?
Everybody was amazing. Met so many people that I've had things to do with online, but never obviously met in person because everybody's all over the world. Fully embraced.
That's awesome.
Very, very special though to be able to meet Dr. Glover and also Alex Wodak. So that was awesome.
That's awesome. That's hella cool.
I think there was people like Mr. Wodak and Madawa and obviously Grim and Matt and V and Bogan, people that are really upfront in advocacy. But the other side of that is that so many of the other people that were also at the event are all just doing what they can. So there were advocates everywhere. I mean, Moxley, we got to talk to her.
It was excellent that they included advocacy in the event, but my feedback to the organisers would be fucking advertise it better. We had no detailed program for the 2 days. So apparently there was a discussion one day on women in vaping, and as a marginalised group, no idea that was on in a separate room to where the expo was being held. There was a guy giving a presentation on advocacy on the first day, and the only reason I knew that's what he was doing was because I could read his presentation on the screen when we walked past. Didn't know that was happening. I only knew that the roundtable discussion that I sat down and watched was happening because Dr. Glover told us about it. So I think if they're going to do things like that, then they need to support it a bit better and advertise it a bit better.
A better source of disseminating it.
I saw, I can't remember who it was there, and there were comments. Actually, it was the Moxley stream. Someone in there was saying that expos are boring, and for an hour or so it's interesting, and then you get really tired. And I was thinking, well, if you're there just to look at products, buy some juice, and leave, it's a trade show. Then absolutely, an hour, and then you might be done. But if there's events going on, if there's roundtable discussions, if there's a lot more things to get involved with rather than just looking at products, then a detailed program. If people are going for 2 days, you want to make sure that they can make the most of their time, not miss things like that.
Yeah. The program just said 11 a.m. guest speaker, 12 p.m. Yeah, and so it was just like, okay. Maybe we should just wait here for 3 hours and see who it is. It was a case of that. Yeah.
I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I have to go back to my first stage meeting, I'm afraid.
Thanks for coming in.
But at least I'll be able to perform CPR if anybody has a heart attack in the future.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Pleasure. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
It was a big thing, the whole advocacy thing, and so many different takes on stuff that's going on all over the world. I mean, it was all a lot of the same information that we always talk about, but local situations, what everyone can do, what events like that are doing. There was a lot of really, really good stuff.
Nice.
I think, Brandon, you could probably answer this better, but there's so much negativity, and we get so caught up in, we've got to fight this, and we've got to answer that, and we've got to email all these people. There's so much to bring us down. I think just being in a room surrounded by a couple of thousands of peers, and the companies that are supporting them, all for the same purpose, and thinking so positively about it, couldn't be anything but a sort of a refreshment for your soul.
Totally, man. I mean, absolutely. The last few months. I mean, it's been years for most of the people probably in chat who have been advocating for years. But to get a refresher after the last couple of months and to see very positive talk and small steps being made, and even talking to Alex Wodak. I mean, he's chair of ATHRA out here in Australia, and I mean, he admitted that the people on the board, they're funding it themselves, so it's a heavy situation. I mean, Emily even showed him the receipt. She put $10 into ATHRA last week, and he was just like, give me a hug. Thank you so much. I guess people don't see that, because I guess you see all of the stuff going on online, and there's a lot of activity, but the reality is, you open the door and it costs money. You want to send a letter, it costs money. Someone's paying for something. So, it was really interesting. And also sorry, I'm raving, but the online presence, you see a lot of these people to actually hear it in their own language in real time was far more eye-opening in positive and negative ways than sometimes what you can see online. So, people have, obviously, the way they communicate that has a huge thing as well.
Nice.
So I noticed in a couple of pictures, and specifically in the beginning of the stream you did with Moxley, you were hanging out with a good friend of mine.
Oh, Big Dave!
Big Dave, yeah.
Big Dave! Yeah. He was...
I was going to say, he's a lovely, lovely guy.
He is a very big man compared to my small stature, but he is a big teddy bear, and Dave was, I mean, as I said, that first moment when he turned to me and said, we're walking around an event, vaping inside, nicotine, it's all for sale, it's all legal. He was tripping out. I hope he's okay me saying that, but he was literally tripping out.
I would have been myself. I admit.
I think Dave went to every single stand and spoke to every single person. He put the yards in to find out about where they were from, and because that's the thing. You all these pod companies never seen the brands before. Never, and it wasn't like they hired people from New Zealand all to person the stands, to work the stands. A lot of them were the employees or the owners of the companies. So they're pushing hard for business. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta admit, it gave me a big smile. I was flicking through pictures, and there was a picture of you just hanging out with Dave. It was like, my two friends hanging out without me. Yay, fuck you.
Another big shout out to Squidly Triss, Friday Vape Club. He is based in Perth.
That man is a social whore. He took a picture with every single frickin' person there.
Yeah.
And then he shared them all.
Yeah. He's a heart of gold, that guy, and he was also tripping out to his first vape event, and so there was a lot of virgins there, yeah. But I also, I know I've been doing all the talking. I'm sorry, but I also want to say how comfortable and welcomed, everybody was making, the punters feel. That the stands were going out of their way to engage people, and if there was the awkward first half an hour of being there, because people want to sell you stuff and do all that sort of thing, and then the moment when you stopped looking and just started, talking to the people and all of that situation, the generosity of the community, it didn't matter where they were from, it was just generosity of community and that whole situation, and it put us at ease a lot, because there's a lot of anxiety in the world, but to be welcomed and to be offered a seat and a cold drink, and here have a bottle of e-liquid, and all of that situation, it was incredible, particularly seeing some of those big name vape people, because they're getting pulled left, right and center, and next thing you know, you're sitting down next to one of them talking about weather at home, whatever. It was just normal stuff, and that was that was, I guess, my biggest takeaway from the event was the generosity and the welcoming situation. It was incredible. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to travel the city outside of the event?
I have to say, the only time we really saw the city was when we were all, in a group or going out for something to eat. I really didn't see much of Auckland, and I feel a bit ashamed to admit that. Yeah. It was a fly in, do the event, late checkout, get out.
Next year, hopefully, fingers crossed, we should arrange for a full week. We should go a week in advance.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should go together.
Well, we're going to start saving now, so I'm going to put away $5 out of my vape budget every week and start saving for NZ for next year. So same time next year. Chris, you have no choice. You and your lady, you have to come out.
Oh, that's weird. I'm washing my cat that day.
Oh.
Bring a cat with you.
No, I don't have a cat. I guess I got to get one.
Yeah. We'll just buy one when you get here. Yeah, duty free. Duty free in the airport.
A feral cat from like NZ. Okay. I'll just bring Legion home.
That's it. Hey, Tristan's in the chat. I didn't even see. What's up, man? Yeah.
To hit the chat real fast, we got Steven Sarden. He says, he keeps telling people, remember when vaping was fun? And he means it in all sincerity. We're advocating so much, it's becoming not so much fun anymore. And that's the thing. You got to find the balance between, fighting hard and, getting pissed off, but also remembering why you're here and that you enjoy it. That's why you're fighting for it.
Yeah.
I saw a comment, some vape group the other day, and a guy had just started vaping, and he wasn't trying to be disrespectful. He was asking, I see so many people with all their devices and stuff. He was like, are you guys here as hobbyists, or are you trying to quit smoking? And it was actually really nice to see all those replies basically saying, yeah, when we're here to quit smoking, that's why we started, that's why we're into this. But the fun side, the hobbyist side, the collecting side, the high-end side, the mixing juice side, all the little angles that you can take, that just makes it so much easier. It takes your mind off things. It keeps you occupied. It fills that little addicted part of your brain with something else. And I think that's a big part. I think that's the part that the Yanks don't get, is that, yeah, we enjoy it. It's fun. I like playing with devices. I like slapping new coils and things. I like playing with new juices and new flavors, but it keeps me off the other stuff. It keeps me happy. And that's what it's all about in the end. It's being satisfied, being happy, enjoying a little bit of vice. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of vice, as long as I'm conscientious about it.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that, it's not just a thing of, like, I get it. Not everyone thinks like this. You see a lot of it because it's a little edgy and attention-grabbing when everyone's like, oh, just quit. Blah, blah, blah. Do nothing else. You know what, man? Like, stop looking at the porn when your wife's at work and putting it on your private browser. You stop watching fucking stupid shows that you should be watching. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has a vice of things. But now you found something that helps benefit you in a certain way and then can keep your hands busy and create a community for. You can't do that with a lot of other things that people do. And I know, like, I'm not trying to unclass the show tonight, but it's like everyone watches porn. Everyone doesn't want to admit it, but that's not like a community-based thing you can do together. And if you do, it's probably weird. So why not let us have our vice thing where we come together as a community and we're not worrying about, like, touching each other's wieners.
Yeah. A lot of that talk was actually at the event was that it's not okay that when you're trying to beat an addiction as such, that it's pleasurable.
Yeah.
How many other things can you think of that are pleasurable that you're trying to,
It doesn't have to be a miserable experience, and that's what a lot of people don't understand on the other side of things. And it's either they've never experienced it or they've tried to quit doing something, whether it's like smoking, drinking, whatever the hell it is, to this, and they've thought that they've had to beat themselves into the ground and be dead about it inside to actually make a switch. When no, you don't. You can switch and then also enjoy the journey getting to that point.
Yeah. I've got a really quick story. Is that there was an outside bar area that was the smokers section at the hotel we were staying at, and we kept seeing this gentleman down there every time we went down there. And turns out that he was a pilot for Emirates, and he was a smoker. And when we would go down there, he would be like, share the table with us, and he'd like move away to go and have a cigarette. So on the Sunday, I had been given some of those single-use devices by Dinner Lee, tobacco and a lemon tart and a blueberry ice or whatever it was called. And, because he was like, oh, you guys are vaping and this, that, and the other. So the conversation starts. So I go upstairs and grab these things from him. And as we're talking, the conversation is getting further and further, tinfoil and MSA and FDA and CDC and, the pilots and like all this crazy stuff. And he was, you could see the cogs ticking in his brain. Like he enjoys smoking and here's this thing and he understands about, got to find the science and all that sort of business. And, he left with 3 of these pods, but I think I'll just end it with, I was saying to him, these aren't the best experience in the world. But if you're willing to try it, there's steps afterwards. And he walked away with them, but it's hard to know because I also met another person who said that if they took vaping away, they'd go straight back to smoking because they enjoyed it so much. And and that to me is like, I get it, advocacy, and I get it, harm reduction, all that sort of thing. But like if they took vaping away from us and all that was left was IQOS, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. So that was a complete different tangent.
No, you're fine. I get where you're going with it.
I got a question for both of you though. Have you noticed, and maybe the people in the chat as well, have you noticed that vapors overall tends to be a lot more compassionate towards current smokers than ex-smokers are? People who've quit smoking hate smokers. People who've quit smoking and started vaping, we understand. We're like, oh yeah, let me help you out. And here's this. Oh, just try these things. We'll give you some advice. Oh, you're not ready yet? That's fine. That's fine. Just you keep doing what you're doing. When you're ready, let me know. I'll help you out. Whereas people who have quit smoking, they're the ones that smokers walk into elevators and they're like, oh, that's disgusting. I can smell you from here, and then they get off on the next floor. Ex-smokers, and I have a theory that ex-smokers haven't really quit. They've stopped, but they haven't quit. They're angry. They're bitter. Because all they fucking want to do is have another cigarette. That's my theory anyway.
I was talking to some friends about this over the weekend, actually. Not exactly the same point, but kind of to the thing. And that and this is my belief, take it or leave it, hate me for it, but I don't think anyone ever quit smoking. Like whether it's like switching over to vaping or something like that, like a cessation device, because eventually at some point, either it's a weak point or you find yourself to where you're going to crave it or you're going to want to do it. And you may take a puff here or there, something every so often. It's something that's going to be a part of you forever that you take with it, but the initiative that you take to make sure that you go for something that's a healthier option.
Can I take a moment to address R in the chat?
I noticed that.
Yeah, we've gone from one vice to another. Absolutely. But we've gone from one vice that is going to definitely fucking kill you to another vice that's 95% less harmful. We're reducing harm. And what the hell is wrong with an adult having a vice? Do you enjoy a drink? Do you jerk off? Do you look at women? We all do these things. It's okay to have a fucking vice. Get the fuck out of here. Done.
Peanut butter is my vice. Peanut butter, and I'd like to have less harmful peanut butter.
If we're gonna do that, then yeah.
Harsh, guys.
No,
just pissing me off.
No, I get it. Believe me. If we're gonna talk about it, like even so, like with drinking and stuff like that, I'd like to stop drinking completely. But I found something that's a little bit easier and safer for me. I'm not gonna advocate for that on this show. But you find things that you can still enjoy the vices at a less harmful level. And anything that you do in life is going to be harmful. You walk across the street without looking, you're going to get hit by a fucking car. And then what are you going to do? Say, stop walking across the street? Like,
yeah, the whole people talking about IQOS, and there were people pro and people con at the event, and it was a pretty intense conversation for most people. And even vapors talking to the staff at that stand, some of them, I guess the vibe was that they were trying to get the information out of them, trying to get them to admit that it's still smoking, trying to get them to, say that it's no better. And then there were other vapors who would come back and say, I just spoke to these people and I'm starting to, look at it differently and all that sort of situation. And then there's, people who were looking at it from a harm reduction point of view. And yeah, it's everyone's got such different opinions about what's going on, and it's a heavy thing because those are the subjective over objective sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But I also came back with an absolute swag. I had no story for customs when I was coming back through the gates, and I had no story ready for all of the liquids that I picked up. Yeah, I'm a business, and these are samples.
So I was going to say, you went out there, you gave out some coils and stuff then, yeah?
Just to some people that I hadn't met, that had spoken online, and that sort of situation. I was nice to meet a few people that I could just give a nice token gift to. Very supportive community, and it was nice to just give a little something something, and some coils to some people. So
Nice.
Yeah. There were so many talented people there. People that you were meeting, like, oh yeah, I make 100 the flavors of this company, or I'm a designer, or I'm a YouTuber, or like everyone's got their own little thing that they did. So it was as I said, down to earth community, welcoming. That whole situation was incredible. So,
Well, we gotta hit the hard hitting question. Then, did you get your boobs or your butt signed by anyone that you fangirled over, or no?
I got nipple grippled by a few people, a few celebrities. So more physical, no scars, but yeah, we're very lucky. We got to spend time with a few prominent people, I guess you'd call in the industry, and had dinner with a few of them and all that sort of stuff, and really nice to meet them, and it was incredible, lifelong memories. I mean, I say that. I mean, I'm still a baby in the baking industry, but really nice to spend time with. I mean, even just Sam Bogan, like lives in the same city. I spent more time with them this weekend than I have in my own city. It's like, okay, I've got to travel all this way to meet you, and that was really, really cool. But a few people that I was like, oh, I didn't believe that was you. I didn't know that was you, and then a few people that said that to me as well. So that was pretty fun. Oh, we lost Steve.
Oh well.
Steve, man down. Man down. But yeah. So that was kind of really cool.
Nice. So what would you say is your favorite takeaway, something that you brought home with you then, out of all that buffet of things that you had?
Yeah, this is surprising. I mean, I'm even wearing an Inican T-shirt. They were giving us T-shirts as we walked in the front door, and I was like, will I wear a T-shirt like that? I mean, everyone loves a free T-shirt, but then I realised, I actually have quite a few Inican products. And that is a company that, I mean, you can say what you like about companies and what they do and all that sort of thing, but I always end up liking Inican products. So this was not something I expected to buy. I just saw it and I was like, I want it.
Yeah.
And it performs really, really well. So that was one big thing. I mean, I got a couple of personal effects from people, particularly, again, shout out to Mikey at Hunting Clouds. He went above and beyond to make us feel welcome, and there was a lot of generosity going on at the show, and a lot of the stuff happened because of Mikey just bringing us into the fan bam, out there. So that's a triple shout out for Mikey from Hunting Clouds. He makes incredible e-liquid, and you should check it out.
Nice. In the chat, we got Steven Sard saying that he loves his Anakin. He still uses a Proton, and he uses it daily. I have yet to try an
I gotta
Anakin.
admit, I have never got my hands on an Anakin product that I didn't like. They're always solid. They're always reliable. They're always well thought out. A little bit different than the rest of the industry, and they don't just pump out product after product. They seem to take a lot more time to make each thing just perfect.
Yeah.
Not a lot of respect for Anakin.
Yeah. So that was a really good thing. But the e-liquids, I rarely venture out of my happy place with e-liquids. So it's also nice that I've got a few more stashed up there that I can hit in the warmer months when it starts getting to the fruits and the cooling agents.
So then I'll ask
you. Do you switch flavors for seasons?
I was just about to ask that.
You know what the biggest thing I find is, like anyone that lives in a hot place, when you start running dual coils at 80 watts plus, you can only take 2 or 3 big toots before that gets far too hot. So I do both. I probably go single coils in the summer months, and the fruits are definitely more refreshing. But I definitely bake my desserts in bakeries right up until the last possible moment.
Yeah, I don't switch. I tried to grab some menthols and some ice cool things, and it just didn't work for me so well. I think the worst part was I had I can't remember what it was. It was a iced coffee thing. And you know how you gotta pop the cap off in Australia to add a little extra stuff to it. And so I'm fiddling with it. I couldn't get it off. I ended up using my teeth. And I ended up with like a whole lip covered in juice. It was so icy cold that my lips went numb for like an hour. And it was just like, I can't even bake that stuff. It's horrible. It's like, put it back, And I tried vaping through it, but I just never been a huge fan of cooling agents.
The only time I ever do menthol, I do Cool Rush, is like, you get vape tongue. I didn't know it was a thing for the longest time, and I was, I was always anarchist pink, and I'm like, man, I'm getting no flavor out of this. They told me that. So that's the only time I'll switch over to a menthol. But don't get me wrong, I enjoy menthol, but not like more than maybe one like, Skunk bottle's worth.
It's a great palate refresher.
Yeah.
To wake your palate back.
I guess that's the only flavor I'd say I can switch to in a cooler time for some reason. Menthol seems a little bit better, but yeah, otherwise I stick to the one.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't mind mint in real life. Mint cookies, winter green mints, lifesavers, all that stuff. Just could never take it in a vape.
You didn't smoke menthols either?
Only when I couldn't find anything else and I was bumming off a friend.
Indeed.
Well, it's tobacco, it'll do.
That was me with the opposite way.
I also expected, we went to a few areas that had, designated smoking / vaping areas, and I expected to see NZ just full of vapors, but it was still quite often that the vapors were overwhelmed by the smokers in the smoking section. So it shows that, even in the good places, there's still a lot of work to do if we can help people switch.
You know that thing they do? You do that in like military events. Chris will know about this. You all stand back to back and one gun in all directions and just sort of like move around and shoot. The vapors together and just all blowing out clouds. Just move across the room, pushing them back to the walls.
I wanted to see all the crazy vape devices when people turn up with, backpack batteries and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't see any crazy devices. I'm disappointed at that. No one brought any, like, triple mega, quadruple stacks or anything. I didn't see any.
I think you need to go to Germany for that. Yeah.
So for the chat,
there seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
In the chat we got Glenn, which is twice as much news than I'm used to. Number one, I guess Glenn got a girlfriend, and he says that he found a setup for his girlfriend that he gave her a pack of Cubano stick pods. She likes them enough that she's been able to cut back on smoking, but hate to see her spend a fortune on disposables. Would either of you have something that you would suggest towards that area that might help?
If she's using Cubano, you can get that in an e-liquid straight. So any decent mouth along that's got the right draw for her, something small and light's probably the go. Probably an Anakin would be the right bet. Any decent mouth along Anakin setup with the V-God Cubano would be a good go for that.
I think, maybe did Glenn only have Cubano available? The biggest thing for me to, like, solidify switching was something outside of tobacco, because, as I said, my story was I bought 3 e-liquids in different nic strengths of all tobacco flavour, and for shits and giggles, the extra bottle was a bottle of strawberry milkshake, and it was the strawberry milkshake that made me go, wow, I'm done. So any device that you could put something else in there, fruits, even that situation of if you can afford to buy a fruit, a bakery, hardcore custard, do the cross section of the e-liquids, because maybe, the lady might say, this is so much better and it's not tobacco. I was given this as well. This is Ripe Vapes, which I think VCT, please correct me if I'm wrong.
It's very popular out here.
Yeah. Is that vanilla custard tobacco? I had no idea that was a tobacco situation, and I set it up this morning. I can't stand tobacco, anything right now, but when I vaped this was actually really, really good, but it's more, custard and vanilla than it is tobacco. It's tobacco in the back end for me. So, giving the person the option to, refill their own situation and not buying a disposable, that's the urn with a refillable pod. Those are banging. They were handing these out to people all over the shop this weekend because they're that effective. So, maybe the next step of a slightly better device.
That, and I'm just going to assume here, because I wasn't that kind of vapor or that kind of smoker, I did notice, though, for a lot of people that I've met, that if you are a regular tobacco smoker, like regular cigarettes like Marlboros and stuff like that, it's easier to go from tobacco to a dessert flavor than it would be to go from tobacco to a fruity flavor.
Yeah.
Probably makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think, but there might also be those people that are, I think, like Sam or even, I think Mike Vapes, it was his story, the first thing they got was like a blue Raz or like something so far removed from cigarettes, and they were just like, that's it, So, yeah, options, lots of options.
And plus, if you ever...
And that's the big thing is that we have so many options to choose from. That's why this works, is we can try so many different things. So the best advice, try exactly like you said. Try a bunch of different liquids. Try some different setups. And you're vaping already, so you've got a range of options there. Let her try out all the different things to see what works, and sort of fine tune it down to what really hits the spot for her.
Yeah.
As I've said many, many times, my wife's tastes and preferences are a little bit different than me, so we have a split there. What works for her and what works for me are a little bit different. So everyone's got their own happy place.
Yeah. I was going to say something so profound, but I've lost it.
My apologies.
Yeah, no, it was going to be profound, absolutely profound. Oh no, I do know what I was going to say. The IQOS device, the whole setup, was about the same price as if you're buying a topside and an RDA. So the entry level to...
That's kind of atrocious, if you ask me.
Well, it was in that, $90 to $100 range. So,
But what comes in the kit?
Yeah, it's like a small box which you put the actual heater piece into it, and that's the charge. But the what do you call it? Like the battery pack, and it charges out of that. But I mean, entry level even into something like IQOS is the cost of a decent device. So I mean, people always want to go, well, it's the packet of cigarettes is $30, $40, or that's it in Australia. $40. How much is one of these? $40, and I've got to buy e-liquid, and I've got to buy pods for it. That's now pushing into $80. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get that transfer rate down because that sounds crazy expensive to me.
Taxes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Our taxes are gonna hit.
Got to have his cut.
Yeah. Yeah, our taxes are gonna go into effect here in Nevada January 1st. So.
Can you please reiterate on?
It's gonna be a 30% wholesale tax on every product that you have on your shelf, on top of when you sell the product in the state of Nevada. So, it's this guy in an alley wearing a suit with a knife, and he's just stabbing you. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, I found that out today.
Yeah. How do you think how that's going to work out, Chris?
I can't speak on anything that's above my grade, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah. You see a little bit about that online, and there's people who, I guess, consumers who are like, I'm never going to pay that, and I'm out. Or there are others that say, I'll pay whatever.
Well, the problem is for us, it hits us at a wholesale level, so it's not even on a retail thing. But also, don't quote me on this because I might be wrong. But as far as I know, that and now in the state of Nevada, you can't be a wholesaler and a retailer. You have to choose one or the other.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So
that's big news. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's weirdly restricted.
Well, that's the thing too, is that they're also trying to make sure that they weren't, because we had people. Well, we personally didn't, but there are people here with like the vapor associations and stuff that we're working with. The legislators trying to make it to where you'd only do it at either the retail level and all this stuff, blah blah blah. And they tried hard, but the info came out today that it's just they weren't playing no games. They weren't budging in nothing. It's like when they first passed the bill, 6 months ago. That and when they brought it up original bill by itself, and then they saw the resistance, and then they just piggybacked it into the old bill for regular combustible tobacco. So
that's freaking heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
So if I seen Grumpy tonight, guys.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
No.
Voca is saying January 1st. We're getting a 100% surcharge on all vaping and smoking products here in the UAE, and they've only just brought it in. Yeah.
Jingles in the chat, I want to address this. He says, I'd rather not have either, but wouldn't a tax be better than an all-out ban? So you would think so in the easiest way to look at it, but no, what the tax does is it suppresses the opportunity for your business to make money And it would be worse than a ban because they're just basically banning you financially without saying it up front. That's all it is.
Yeah. Can I give a shout out to Little Aussie Vape Shop? Welcome to the. I'm not sure I've seen you in here before, but I know where your store is. You're North Queensland. I think, is that right? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Even up there, Queensland Health is our bad organisation. Not shy of a little propaganda themselves. So I'm sorry to hear that for you up there, Little Aussie Vape Shop. But we're standing strong with you, man.
Yeah, they were here last week when you were, off gallivanting.
I'm old. I forget everybody. I don't even know how to stream. Yeah.
But yeah, so if anything, not to like be Downer Debbie and stuff like that, but it's just a reminder that there's still shit going on that people don't see and everything like that, and that's why it's still important to make sure that if it's not affecting your state directly, do it at the federal level when you make the calls to the White House and do all those things. As far as the reach goes and everything like that, we can't tell you right now because we'll have to see how it all plays out. But the fact that you keep trying to continue it, because it does seem like we were in a safe spot for a good little bit here, right? It's a little slow on the news, and all this stuff. And I was pointing out at work earlier that after all this happened, how many people have you heard pass away or die from what the mainstream media is calling a vaping related illness recently? Tell me one that you've heard in the last 2 weeks. None.
Yeah. Indeed.
That's because it's no longer useful in the narrative.
Yeah.
They made their point. They pushed their things. It's in people's minds. They don't have to push it anymore because people already believe it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I can also.
Sorry,
sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead.
I can also say that quite a few of the people in the know were saying, as far as the Australian situation is concerned, there are politicians who support it, but they won't go against their major party, narratives. So we can't stop contacting these people because it's only going to take a few to go. I believe in that too, and I believe in this too. So we need to say something. So the how do you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. So we cannot stop, even if it is Christmas and even if Parliament closes. You can't stop because there are people out there that see want to mitigate the risk and also take on board the public health benefits. So we cannot stop.
And if you guys haven't,
Little Aussie Vape Shop mentions right there, Northern Territory in Australia is facing a complete nicotine ban right across the board. As far as e-liquid's concerned, so sprays, gums, tobacco, that's all fine. Aubergines are fine, but e-liquid, no, that's no good. So if you are in Australia, get in touch with ASRA. They're the ones who are going to be fighting this on the front lines, and they do need your support. They need any and everything you can do to help them. So do that.
Absolutely.
Definitely do that.
Yeah, and they are also in that fight against Northern Territory. They want to take them to court. So anything, $1 helps. Absolutely. Yeah.
And just to hit on the point Adam was saying before, the government is very hive-minded. Everyone follows party lines. Everyone does stuff like that because when it's politics, you kind of pay to play with who you support when you're a politician. And so once you get one or two to change their mind and actually see it for what the benefit it actually has, that's a better chance than just saying, oh, no one's going to give a fuck, just buy it all up and stock up and wait for it to blow over, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I really detest that mentality of, oh, shit's going down, I'm going to stock up so I'm okay for 6 months or so, and then let it go. I mean, there's two effects that you're doing there. One, you're pulling back from the actual fight. You're just concerned with yourself. And that's a little bit selfish because the industry and this community was there for you when you needed it. It's time to get back a little bit. And the other thing is, when you stock up, and I'm sure that anyone who owns a store will tell you this, yeah, it's great to have a $500-$600 sale, but it's better to have a $30 sale every week ongoing. It's better to be able to count on an income. And if you stock up, you're not helping that front line, those businesses, the little shops, the B&Ms that really rely on you. It's better to buy a little bit every week than to stock up. And when you do that and you pull off and you start living on your back stock, then the businesses that would rely on you, they start closing. I have seen 2 or 3 in the last week in South Australia alone just shut the doors or announce that, yeah, that day is coming very soon. You need to keep fighting, and part of that is, stay involved financially.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, I'll cheers to that because we all need to do that.
What is it? What are you drinking? What is that?
It's what do you call it? A Thunderbird. I'm drinking straight Thunderbird.
What the hell is Thunderbird?
No, it's one of those little beverages you get in like one of those little crazy little bottles, and you only need one. Like it just. It's what you drink before you go out for drinks.
Oh, it's a pregame.
Pre-game, yeah. And loosen up.
Oh man.
So we're coming up to Christmas, gentlemen. Tell me what you're both doing over the crazy holiday season.
Same thing I always do. Sit here, make videos, live stream.
Legion dyes his beard white, gets in a sleigh, and then flies over the world.
That's
Quite there yet.
In 2 more years, he'll be Tim Allen, and he'll be Santa Claus. As far as holiday plans go, like I was saying earlier, I'm not too big on them anyways as it is, so probably go hang out with like outside family, whatever, friends, stuff like that. The closest I get is like maybe the Secret Santa with my friends, but that's when I have a friend that's a vegan that says they love cucumbers and stuff like that, so I just get them a cucumber and a box of condoms, whatever.
Are you closing down, Chris? Like as far as work is concerned, you've got some time off, or is it just trade as normal?
As far as like taking time off, no, just business as usual. I don't.
Yeah.
I've already used all my time off.
Yeah. Oh, they're big in Australia on like we close from Christmas Eve to 2nd of or like the first work business day after New Year's Eve. Like businesses are very fond of.
Sounds like something Bernie Sanders would fight for, but no, that doesn't happen here.
That's it. We want a 4-day weekend and 2.5 days of business. That's the Australian mantra. We'll be fighting for that for years.
No. Yeah, so nothing too crazy. Although I don't think I'm gonna plan on doing the Friday Fallout until the new year. We'll see how it goes, and we'll figure that out. But yeah, other than that, nothing too crazy, nothing new.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Adam? What's your plans for the season?
I have a little health situation to sort out. Everything is fine. I don't want that to sound melodramatic, but I have a little bit of a situation happening at the end of the year. A little bit of recovery, but my work is also closed for 2 weeks, so I'll be at home. A little bit of family with the, a little bit of Christmas with the family, and spend some time with the young boy, and back to it next year. So, computers will still be on. No one takes time off online over that time. So as much as I can, I'll still be online, and as much as we can, we all can do this. Then I'm in. So Christmas period is a short and fast situation for us, but then there might be a little bit of relaxation time as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
I did have a question though for Legion. How is that topside single? What is it now? Like
Topside light.
Yeah. So tell me about it.
Well, didn't you watch my review? I told you all about it.
Oh yeah, man, I totally watched it.
Yeah. It's functionally exactly like the original topside. If you took the original topside and dropped a drop on the top, that's what this vape's like. Exactly the same. A little bit more options in the airflow, but otherwise, same basic performance. It's lighter, it's a little easier to hold, a little easier to carry. It converts, if that's your thing. I think I made my opinions about that clear in the review. Not really big on that. But in terms of a squonk, I think it's an excellent kit. If someone's just looking to get into squonking, or they're looking for something that's a bit more disposable, not really disposable, but I mean, the Aegis is the thing you get when you want something that will deal with any kind of situation. But if you want something that will last, and if you drop it and break it, you don't really worry so much, this would be the thing to go for.
What's the price point on that thing?
I looked around, and the best I could find was about $98 for the full kit. But you got to keep in mind that the price comparison to the original is that the original is just the device, and this is the device with the RDA, so you get the full Buy this, a battery, and a bottle of juice, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's also very light. A colleague has one, and when I put it in my hand, it felt because he was using a Suburban tank on it. He's using it in the 21700 format, no squonk, and it feels really nice in the hand, but it's very top heavy when you put something chunky on the top. So awesome for pocketability if that's your thing, but it is an interesting ergo feel when you run it like just as a single 21.
We do have a question
Well,
for you.
like I said in the review, I mean, that conversion, I don't see much of a point with it. I know a lot of people are into that. I'd much rather buy a squonk to squonk and a single battery for a single battery and choose what I prefer for that day rather than having to worry about losing pins or changing things out. But as a squonk device, yeah, quite like it. I've been using it for the last 2 weeks nonstop, so I'm still using it today after I've done the video, so that says something about it.
That's
Usually,
a good sign.
If I'm not so big on something, kind of put it down and push it to the side.
Yeah.
Steven Sard said in the chat, he watched the review. Other than the screw at the bottom, how's the flavor on the variant? Worth picking up, or should you just stick with the drop V1?
Actually, I have to think about that.
And your time is up.
I have elevator music somewhere.
It's still a great thing. I've got mine sitting right here, actually. I haven't looked this up yet, but honestly, if you've already got the drop one and you're happy with it, and you don't necessarily need a new RDA, then stick with what you've got. If you're looking for something that suits a different device a little bit better, or a few more airflow options, yeah, I think this one works quite well. It really depends on how desperate you are to spend your money. If you've got the drop, you're good. As far as that screw in the bottom thing, yeah, I've seen. See, I was confused with that. If you watched the review, you know what I'm saying. I was confused about what it's about because mine doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And I started watching other people's reviews in the middle of editing my final review. And I was like, well, that's what it's supposed to do. So I went back and double checked and re-wicked it, and yeah, mine doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Crazy.
Well, if you guys, I guess neither of you have seen my review yet, but that screw, it doesn't have a replaceable squonk pin. It has a built-in pin and a screw on the inside. You're supposed to screw it down, and it seals off the squonk so that you can.
So like a plug for the squonk pin then?
Leakage worries, and you unscrew it for squonking. That's the idea.
Yeah.
And yet, when I cranked mine all the way down, and then I squonked with ease, and I opened it all the way up, and I squonked with ease, and it makes no difference. It makes no difference. I don't know if it's an error in mine, or if yeah.
So
It's just a thing.
obviously, I'll catch the review for sound like an asshole for not seeing it. So I'm guessing what you're saying is, it's a squonk pin with a plug.
Yeah, it's got a plug on the inside, not on the bottom. So and it doesn't remove or come out. It's a great idea in terms of concept. I wish I'd come up with this and marketed it to someone like 2 years ago. But yeah, the idea is that it's when you screw it down, it should seal.
Gotcha.
And now you can just put it on any device you want without any leakage worries.
So then it's like carrying less stuff around or less work to actually have to do between one or the other.
Well, a lot of times if you're switching around squonk pins from device to device, yeah, you take that squonk pin out, and all of a sudden your deck gets all wonky. And if you've got a build in there that might hold it in place, you're confused.
I hate wonky decks. Just
yeah. Yeah, you take that bottom pin out and half your deck falls out, or if you've already got clothes there, they kind of hold it in place. But yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes switching out pins. But having that little center pin, it's a really, really good idea. I love the idea.
Yeah.
Just this one didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's just the one on yours.
Can I address Little Aussie Vape Shop? How's the Yearn compared to the Caliburn? Very similar. I believe the Yearn is a slightly tighter draw, like by a minuscule amount. But I kind of like the performance of the Yearn a little bit more. I've only tried the pre-filled pods on 2 occasions, and I'm running the refillable pods. It's outstanding. My Caliburn sits on the counter now as like my what do you call it, spare device, because this is really good. It feels really nice. Worth it. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But all right, I don't know, guys. We're about to hit 2.5 hours almost.
Yeah.
Been that long already?
An hour and a half. Yeah.
Oh man, I can't tell time. Sorry, guys. I'm bad at math. That's why I take the pictures.
Awesome. Coming up. What have we got coming up?
Have a good night, Glenn. Glenn's dipping out.
Review on this. Still working on that review on a battery charger. Other than that, I'm tapped out. I got nothing on the show.
How is
See what comes in this week, if something does.
I know we talked about it last week. So as like as far as like reviewing a battery charger, finding aspects and points to hit, is that maybe like an issue?
Yeah. I'm not Mooch. Mooch can pull out charts and he can give you little moving diagrams and he can. I'm not like that. I'm not that kind of reviewer. So.
But usability is a huge thing, man. You know, being able to effectively use it, and does it have nice ergo? Does it, you're a smart dude.
Yeah, especially
Ergo?
coming.
Do you walk around carrying your charger and this fits really ergonomically?
I mean, putting the batteries in and out.
That's why Adam wears those really long shorts. He's got battery chargers in there.
It's to hide my short legs. That's what it's for.
It doesn't help. No.
G life. Yeah. Yeah. Dickie's still my guy. Indeed.
But yeah, so then I'm guessing that's going to be it for the end of the year for now. Then Legion, yeah, for as far as reviews and stuff go.
Wait a minute, I do have something. I have the this bit, the rebuildable section for this coming up as well next week. But yeah, that's about it for this year. And unless something comes in like today or tomorrow, anything else that comes in later, I'll probably push back to New Year's because you gotta take your time and make sure you're comfortable with. I hear the phrase a lot, and I might piss someone off when they say this. Out of the box reviewer, and that to me is an oxymoron. You can't do it. It's an unboxing. It's a showing what's in the box and trying to figure it out on the spot. And there's some value in that, but that's not a review.
Yeah.
A review is I've used this for a while. I've figured out the ins and outs based on my experience. I've figured out where the flaws are and where the good things are. A review is a considered approach to a device. An out-of-the-box review is to look what's in this box. There's some stuff in there.
And if you guys want to know the difference between a unboxing and a review is Legion does reviews, and if you see my videos on Local Vape, that's an unboxing. And to the one guy that commented saying, I hope he's not wearing those gloves because he thinks it's cool. No, it's because I'm fat and sweaty. Shout out to whoever you are.
That's right.
And then also shout out to, I think that's our first time getting a hater in the chat tonight. That our douchebag. Welcome to the show, and you've been banned. But thank you for coming.
Was he? I couldn't see the chat. Was he really having a go?
Oh,
Yeah. Inspired.
He was, as you guys would say over there down south, a cunt.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, you heard me address it, and then I apologize for getting so angry so fast, but I'm just so tired of that argument. So you're switching one thing for another, you may as well just be smokers. It's like...
Yeah. And
I don't have time for that anymore.
Well, I'm just curious though to see if and honestly in the chat, Steven Sard just said he liked it. No, you fired up the chat pretty good. I'm pretty sure if our Patreon was still up, we'd probably have like $8 in there right now. But and the funny thing is though is like either someone that knows us came on here to be an asshole, or our stuff's being seen in a feed. So I think you guys, you know what? I think we made it.
We made the big time.
I think we've made it.
Damn.
I think we're on there. Someone was watching SpongeBob meme videos and then saw us and decided to take their time to come here and, be a piece of shit. So,
You got a point there. You haven't truly made it until you get the haters.
You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to our first downvote of somebody that I don't know.
Yeah, but you guys you guys are hardcore, and I'm going to think about that for the next 4 days. Be like, oh man, someone hates us. Just want to talk about it.
It's all right. Never, don't feel that bad about it, Adam, because I'm sitting here vaping on pink lemonade juice, drinking a seltzer beer, and this guy took the time to come here to flex his muscles. You're in the wrong place, home dog. This isn't the Home Depot parking lot. Go suck a butthole.
I feel bad for Steven Sart's sister. I really do. I truly do.
Steven, what?
The chat.
He says he liked R so much he's gonna let him come over and fuck his sister. She's gonna be disappointed.
Oh man. But yeah.
I'm
generating.
Yeah. I'm sending a thanks to everyone again for hanging out with us and our blah blah. You know, we do very much appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Every week we like to come here.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I spew nothing. These two gentlemen I'm with have a concise point, and they share great things, and let me be a part of it. But also, if you guys did not know, you can get Bluestone's coils at localvape.com.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And on that note, Little Aussie Vape Shop, yes, he does. And for the rest of you, Amigos 20 will get you 20% off at localvape.com. So throw in an order now. Why not? What are you waiting for?
Yeah, your whole
go order stuff.
Your whole order.
Stop with the swearing, Brad. Jeez.
Hey, this isn't my channel. I get to swear as much as I fucking want.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
And I'm still never going to be as bad as Bogan.
He was doing it on a mic. It was. I got the giggles. I kind of like comedy when he's swearing because it makes me giggle. And he was doing it on the mic, and everyone was kind of like, "Yep, Bogan's here." Awesome.
So I know, like, maybe it's like obviously I'm somewhat ignorant to it because I don't know too much. But what that whole mullet thing's like? What kind of like the soccer boys or the what do you guys call football in the England territories or whatever? Is that like one of those like rugby boy whatever things? Blah blah blah.
No, it is exactly what it would be where you are. It is the.
It's not a hooligan
trash, hillbilly, hick, redneck kind of thing.
Okay.
And here's the thing, way back in the 90s, I thought it would be ironic, and I started buying like paisley shirts and stripy knit pants. And I was weird. I wanted to rebel against being punk by listening to strange stuff. So I started listening to Neil Diamond and stuff like that, and dressing really like sickies. And here's the thing: it was all tongue-in-cheek irony until one day I woke up and realized I was really a big fan of Neil Diamond, and I really did like that music a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happened to Sam. I think that he's created this character for himself, and it's just become more real. I appreciate that. I do. I'm not picking on him, but I think he dove head first into the Bogan character, and he just now fully embodies it.
You can't miss him though. That's the one thing when he's around the event and doing stuff. You cannot mistake Sam Bogan for anyone else. He's quite the character.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know,
I tell you what makes me really happy though is like you see Sam on his videos drinking a beer. He's got all the punk rock stuff behind him. He's got that weird ass haircut and a little pedo mustache, and he's swearing up a storm. And then he's got these, even when he posts a picture on Instagram, it's like, got this dude fucking coming into Detroit. It's fucking lovely, and stuff like that. And then every now and then there's just a picture of him and his wife and his kids. And it's so freaking genuine. The absolute love in that family.
Yeah.
Like those pictures, I sound like a big softie, but I scroll through it all, and then there's that little picture. I'm like, oh, like that's a great picture. It gives me a happy feeling when I see that.
It's wholesome.
Yeah.
It is. I love that he's got that though.
And that's
just people too, man. They're just people too.
Yeah. Embody what you can. Take advantage of everything that you can provide. Whether it's like, doing stuff like that or coming on here and talking about your butthole or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Take advantage of what you can provide to offer to people, so why the fuck not?
Speaking of which, Chris, and I'm going to regret this, how was your butthole today?
Oh, I'm good, I think. I don't know. I don't think I pooped yet today. We'll see how it goes. I got to do that old man thing. Start eating fiber or whatever. What do you suggest? No.
Weet-Bix.
I got a box of shredded mini wheat and I eat them and it's like eating the Sahara Desert. I don't like it.
Yeah.
You got to get the frosted ones.
They're frosted, but you know how frosted mini wheat cereal goes. I mean, I don't know, actually.
For adults on one side and for children on the other.
Well, why not both sides? No.
Okay, Captain Crunch.
Steven Sarge says I bleach my butthole for photo shoots. I'm always behind the camera, so you don't see it. But yeah, that's not far from the truth.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with a bit of fluffing before the scene gets shot.
You know what I mean? It's like there's this meme floating around where it's like it says, "Photographer, are you comfortable with nudity?" And the model says yes, and then the photographer's in a thong taking photos of the model fully clothed. So if you guys ever want a photo shoot, that's what you expect.
You got to be comfortable practicing your art.
You know what I mean? It's got to flow. It's got to flow real good. And that was a turnaround back to the butthole jokes. But anyways, I think that's all we got.
Yeah, we should sign out.
Wait, Legion had something. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say I think we've reached our limit today. We're heading down.
Yeah. We don't ever do it when Daddy Breezetones is here. You know, we got to keep it civil for him because else he's going to dwell on it forever.
Yeah, it'll be in the report. Don't you worry about that. The post-show report. Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, I don't really have anything else to say except, thank you guys for being here. And also, shout out, I didn't miss it, and Glenn's not here, but our moderators also did a very good job with that douchebag earlier, too. So thank you guys that have got wrenches, because every single one of you jumped on it. And I appreciate also that we all gave him a chance to come in and sound like an asshole at first, address him normally like we should, and then to see that he continued to be a fucking asshat, and then we handled business. Because it wasn't a thing of curiosity of him saying what he's misinformed of, he was just a douchebag.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, that's my closing thoughts. I'll leave it off to you gentlemen, and then we'll close it out. Cool. All right, guys.
Good luck to everyone. Keep vaping. Yeah, do it.
All right, we're going to go ahead and hit that end stream button. Thank you for being here. Probably not going to do Friday, but if we do, I'll make a post. Regardless, we'll see you next Monday. And
Yes.
you guys have a good night.
Awesome. Peace.
Thanks for coming, guys.